Okay, I know we're kind of in the middle of our page, but I got on a whim last night and I wanted to see how our journal was coming along. So if you're working in a separate journal where you don't have anything else, just the classwork, then this kind of would give you an idea. I have 15 more pages in the back of it, and this is how thick it is right now without having done that. So it'll be twice this thick basically. And I haven't affixed it or closed it up. It's still open. I just wanted to tuck the pages in here so that we could, just kind of like do a quick little review and see how our pages look. Now, if you remember in the very beginning, I was trying to work front and back. So for this is our first page, and then this one was our second page. But then I ran into problems with the next pages that I was doing, and I lost some video coverage, which kind of was, my fault. I was being interrupted a lot and forgetting to push the button or pushing it, but by accident it was like double pushing it, and so I thought it was recording and it wasn't. So this was our third page. This was our page 4. And I had started working on separate pages at this point. That way, when I lose a page, hopefully I can just, not put that page in there. And I probably have 4 or 5 pages that, because of problems with the video, they didn't make it into the journal. So then this was one of those pages where I recorded it and I lost part of the video. I don't remember if I was able to show you guys any of the video of it, but I just redid the basic premise of the page a second time, and of course that was this page, and I didn't have, because I'm using magazine images and stuff, I couldn't recreate this exact one, but that was okay. I recreated this one and I liked it. This would have been what that was, I don't know, I've lost count. This is our next page. Now this was our page with our cutout, and it's interesting that what I ended up having behind it, for the most part, almost blends in. So the cutouts, would be a lot more obvious if, say it was that color, but it actually kind of blends in there. And then this was our Be Weird page. Let's see. Then we started with the crazy doodling. This was the, using more spot color and leaving some things black and white. And this was the one where I did 2 pages. And then I felt like you guys were starting to get overwhelmed, and I even was kind of getting overwhelmed and getting a blister. So the next one, which was just as doodle intensive but a load of color, I only did 1. But I did do like this big flower and things, so that those who weren't doing faces would still have something to work with and instruction to follow. Then this was, I know we're at page 11. That must have been page 10, because now we're at page 11, because this is the page, my most favorite page, and I kept saying in the beginning of the class that I love this page so much. This is why. I kept saying I love page 11 so much. This is why. This really is one of my favorite pages of this class. So this was the other side of it, which we did like a bonus video for that. Then this one was using black and white, both as our background collage, but also as a focal point for our page. And this was the one that I actually did 4, I think, of these before I managed to get enough video I could cobble it together and make it a lesson for you guys. So this was the second. We did a bonus page for this one, so that was the second page for that. Then this was where I started to get frustrated with the video. This page was not even intended to be this number. There was a different page in between there, but I ended up having to, or maybe it was this, I ended up having to just toss that whole page and all the recordings for it. But I think she turned out really cute, and she was a lot of fun. And this was our transfer page. So I was, in a way, I think sometimes it kind of works out, the pages that I lost. Now this was our scrap page that we put together, and I really like the way it looks here, because a lot of the elements from the other page really, it's a far different color scheme. So it looks really awesome to look at it. And this also had our little shaker window. And of course, I've not done the other side of any of these. Once the class is completely done and I have videotaped the final flip through, I will go in then and finish all these backside pages. And I'm thinking to a large degree what I'm going to do is play with the things that, go back through the lessons and play with the lessons again. Some of them obviously, like making the page out of scraps, I may not do because I want to fill back pages. But I think there's so much content in the class that I won't have a problem coming up with 30 more or, 28 or however many it is, more additional pages to create just using the techniques that we have covered in class. So then this was also kind of considered a bonus page because that was the other side. This is the one where we were doing the paper piercing, and I love the paper piercing. It's so much fun, and I kind of look forward really to working on the back of this one because there's quite a bit of that paper piercing on the back of the page, and that should be fun to work with. And then this is where we're at right now. And off the top of my head, I'll have to go look at the lessons. There's so many, like bonus and extra pages and stuff that I get lost in the count, but I think we're at like 15 or 16 with this one. And so this is our fabric page, and that one, I think this is going to be fun to work on the other side of this page. And then here too, I wanted to just, give you an idea of what I meant by the tabs. I can flip easily to midway of our class simply because these little tabs stick out. And that's what I love. I mean, I will include tabs in pages for absolutely no reason. So like this page here where I added that little tab on, I always know where that page is. Do you know what I mean? So there are times where I'll add tabs to every single page. I just love tabs. They're just awesome. And that, I think, comes from my altered book days where, I love little dangly things that hang out. I love textured things and interactive things. So the tabs make sense in the way I journal to have a lot of different types of tabs. And I'm going to show you, a few more tab ideas as just like little parts to pages as we go along, because I have a few more that I really, enjoy and always seem to do. So that's where we're at, midway point. I'm really, really, really thrilled so far with everyone's response to the class. Everyone really seems to be enjoying it, and even if every page isn't for you, everyone seems to be getting a little something from all the different pages. And we're not done doing wild and crazy stuff, but I've thrown a lot of wild stuff at you. So I'm going to try to get a little bit back into what I really do in my journal every day. For the next few lessons, at least, now that we've kind of gone over layers, I'm hoping that layering will, come a little more natural to everyone. And since layering is a huge part of what I do in my journal, hence, the reason why we need to do that. But our next page actually is going to use magazines in a new way. Not a new way like as if no one's ever done it, a new way for art and to use it in your art journal. So that should be fun. But okay, so we have to do the details on this page, and I'm actually going to deconstruct this again really quickly. I'm going to leave the other pages already in here because it's easier for me to manage them that way. But I'm going to take the back cover and the 15 blanks, and obviously I've done some of the pages already. But I just put the 15 blanks in here to kind of give you guys a sense of how far we've come and how far we have to go. Okay, so let me set this aside. I think I'm going to pause and restart so that I know where that review part is in the video, so I'll be back. I also wanted to say that I hooked up my extension line back into my camera now that I know that the problems were not the extension line, but the problems were having more than one camera hooked up. I want to test it, and I wanted to start with that review to test it so that if I had to toss that video or if I lost that video, it wouldn't make a difference. You would never know, that I had done that. And the reason that I need to do that is because I need to put my studio back the way I had it. I had to rearrange it, and I had to shove my computer desk table way out into the middle of the room, and it blocks both doorways going in and out of the building for this room. And I I hate it there. So I needed to test and see if I could put my extension line back in and get away with using it. And I found that I can. So yay, I probably in the next couple of days will be rearranging the studio back to the way I had it. Okay, details. I want to play, I guess I kind of like am not really done yet with layering with this, so I am going to do just a little bit, but I'm mostly just going to focus on, I want to get some washi tapes on here, and a few things like that. I don't know that it's necessarily significantly teachable. I'm not putting them down there just to show you how to use washi tapes or how to incorporate them even. It's just that certain pages say I need X, Y, or Z to me. And this page says it needs a little something more. And I really think it needs a little something black and white to help with the fact that we didn't, finish coloring her completely. And also, too, I want to kind of incorporate my tabs just a little more. I did a bit of that by going over them with some tissue, some of the deli paper, and I say incorporate them into it, but I don't necessarily want to make them go away. I just want them to feel a little more organic, like they fit, than I do like they stand out a little too much right now. So that's kind of where my head's at. And I love to play with my washi tapes in a couple of different ways. I like to use them randomly. Obviously, I cover up all my holes that I make in my pages with them. I like to start pages with them, which maybe will, if time permits and ideas work out, I'll show you a page that way. And then finally, I just like washi tape. I just think it's beautiful, and I love to play with it and use it. So that's kind of what I had in my head when I pulled these out, was that I just wanted to play a little bit with my tapes. And I have quite a collection that are pretty predominantly black and white or black and gray, because I have, like I had told you guys, I'm taking a class, and the instructor only uses predominantly black and white as collage. So because I'm taking that class, just like what happens with you guys, I'm completely in love with what I'm learning. I'm very happy with my class, and because of that, I'm wanting to play with what I'm learning from that teacher until it has become something that's incorporated kind of naturally into what I do. Some of it will fall away. Some of it will stay with me directly from what he's taught me. But needless to say, I seem to be procuring an ever-growing collection of things that are black and white, and I know it's directly influenced from Robert's class. So I kind of, wanted to just get those on there, and I'm real happy with that. But I say that I want a little more. I have the hardest time finding the ends of my washi tapes. I have to really press my fingers against them. I have a beautiful little ribbon system that was a gift someone bought me so that I could manage my washi tapes, but sadly I need to install it on the wall, and the walls in here are concrete. And yeah, you're not going to see me. I have to have a muscly, strong guy over here. And whenever I say the words drill into my walls, they run. Because they've put up several shelves for me already. And they literally are like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. I'm not coming over to visit you anymore. That includes my husband, my brother, my father. No one wants anything to do with me if they think I'm going to start asking to have holes drilled in the walls. But I do need to get that done so that I can use my awesome little washi tape system. And it's actually, I think I said this, it's a system for ribbon. It's not supposed to be for tape, but it works beautiful for the little, lightweight washi tapes. And it actually holds my duct tape too. So, all right, so just a little bit of taping that I wanted to add in there. And I think now, I pushed this a little towards the vintage feel when I added the brown, because I really truly do love that brown look, and I do love vintage designs. That's predominantly what a lot of my altered book art had been. It was very vintage. So I do love it, but I still think it can work well with more modern, design pages also. So I just want to kind of work black at this point, and I'm just going to doodle some flowers, which the reason for that is, because I want to kind of grow that feeling out a little more, and maybe even, grow this one as well. So I'm just going to do some of my more common or traditional flower doodles, and that's the really thick one, but I have a thin one too. So and I don't know that there's, again, much to talk about when I'm doodling, and I don't doodle well when I talk. So if this goes on for a really long time and there are a lot of huge spaces with me not saying anything, I'll probably speed it up. But if I think of things to talk to you guys about that are instructional or beneficial, then I'll keep it. I have a grand love for starting the doodles in color. And I'm trying to find a pink right now. Starting them in color and then going back over and outlining them. I don't like overly outlined things, like, when you see someone and every single thing on the entire page has to be outlined. I think it looks nice, and I know a lot of people who love to do it, but for me, it doesn't really work for me. And yet, especially when I'm using like the bright neon colors, I do actually like to do that. I also like, as you've seen several times I think now, is to go back in and do one in black, and then go back in and add color into it. I think it looks fresh and almost watercolor-like when you do that. So I'm going to shut this one off here so that I don't go completely into that one. I do want to limit my colors so that I stay with that more pink feeling. And I actually have quite a lot of different varieties of pink. So like this is, it's also a neon pink, but because it's a permanent Sharpie, it's going to be a different color entirely. And I think I'm just going to do a slightly different style flower. And you can see I'm like trying to imitate layering them as if they're actually in front of and behind each other. I don't always do it, and sometimes I start doing it and then I forget. And I'm like, oh look, that one's half behind and half in front of the other one. But, A for effort, right? I at least try to do different things. Because of the lighting, I have to like tilt this a little bit because there is just a hint of a shine to it. And I have a hard time seeing it. I think I'm going to do one over here. Let's see. I'm going to go up here with it though. And this time I'm just going to do one of those little roses. They're like a little cabbage rose, I guess. It's one of my little favorite doodles. And then I think I'll do some little circle ones. I need to find a different pink though. I'm actually going to go with a red. I actually have some of these Letraset Pro markers, and this one's just, it's called Hot Pink, but to me it looks more red. And I'm just going to do those little circle flowers that I like to do. Just going to do a few of those. And because of the tip on the markers, I can vary the width of the pen, which can be fun. It's a little difficult over something so heavily textured as this. And it does have two different tips on it, which is nice. Also, too, I forgot to mention, I wanted to mention this to you guys. I ordered directly from Letraset to get these, and they were having a special where they give you extra tips. And by tips, I mean tips for the markers. And when I first heard them say that you were going to get extra tips for your markers, I'm like, what on earth are they talking about? I have one actually installed here on this marker, but what it looks like is it comes like this, and it just looks like a cap. But when you pry it apart, it's actually a fine tip. Isn't that awesome? And you can, you know, I mean, I don't know how interchangeable they are. If I have black ink in it and I try to put it on a red one, what would happen? But they sent me one for each of the color markers that I ordered, because I ordered 2 of each. But I only got 1 extra fine tip. But I want to go back and look because I'm wondering if they have the brush tip in that. And the reason that I wonder is because these actually didn't come with they don't have the brush tip. And honestly, I really only like markers at this point that have the brush tip, which is terrible, but it's, you know, it's what I prefer. So, but I wanted to show those off because I was thrilled to receive that extra fine tip. I thought that was pretty neat. I'm going to do one more flower here. I'm just going to do like the little cabbage rose one. Oops, my washi tape's lifting up right there. I didn't push it down hard enough with the credit card. I am going to do a little bit more black. And I'm concerned about using these on anything that has like matte medium on it, because I ruined one of these little fine tips already by doing that. So I'm a little nervous about it. I think I'm actually going to take the tip off of it so that I'm just using the other end, which is kind of pointy as well. And I'm just going to do some of those little circle-y ones. I just want to incorporate these all together, so I'm going to do another one here. And here. And I'm kind of changing their shape a little bit as I go, but it's okay. Let's see. And then I'm going to use this one and see if I can. Well, no, I know I'm not, because I know that it doesn't. These pens don't like the chalky water-based ones. This pen, though, has no problem with it. So these 2 fine-tipped Posca, Uni Poscas, were a gift to me from my friend Romany. Totally buying a whole stack of them. I love them. They are awesome. They are a million times better. I'm sorry, Sharpie, I love you, but they're a million times better than the Sharpies, because the fine, whenever you do the Sharpies and you do the fine tip, they make like that funky plastic tip or whatever it is. This one is more, they do like the point on this. This is much whiter, so it continues to feed ink out way better. Much, much better. Totally going to buy more of these. And I'm going to do that up here with a few of these, because they're really kind of fading in to the background and to each other. And that's kind of not what I wanted. And I don't have to follow the lines exactly. I don't even try to. But the color is back there. You know, the color's behind them, so it still works. Now I am going to leave the bigger one alone. It's hard to see. But I'm not going to leave it alone, but I'm not going to cover it with the black. How's that? I'm going to actually use white. So I need to find my white marker. So I have the same one as the little black one in the white. Also was gifted to me. And this way I can just incorporate a few pops of white. I'm kind of moving it around because I'm having a hard time seeing it. Between all of the gloss and shine and all the different textures. I just need to be able to see a little closer. I'm really not, I don't think I'm even following that one correctly. And then this one, again, I'm just going to cheat. Not even going to try to follow the original. It doesn't matter. Just keeping the color's already back there. So in that respect, it's done its job. These really aren't, they don't like the little wrinkles of texture that are in this, because we use the tissue paper to layer it. And then I like to do just the little dots that look kind of like little berries. So I'm just going to do a few of those. And they're supposed to be fully filled in, but I get going kind of fast and end up leaving little lines in them. So they're not supposed to look like these, but sometimes they do. They're supposed to just look like little berries. Kind of like the, well, no, actually those aren't berries, those are flowers. Never mind. Ignore that. Sometimes you should not listen to the teacher. I think I like to add little berries far more than I do leaves. Leaves on flowers oftentimes feel kind of like out of place to me. I think you have to do a really good job to make them look like they fit. So if anything, I add maybe one or two here and there, and that's it. All right, I think, no, I added a few here, so let me add some little berries so that we'll be tying it all together. Okay. Now I want, I think, to do some journaling, but the thing is that this is pretty busy, and I kind of don't really have anywhere clean that I can journal. Well, actually I do, now that I say that. I can journal right around her here, and maybe even continue it over to that flower if I, run out of room. So I'm going to do my journaling really quickly. Oh, and you know what I want to do? I want to go around this. I want this to stand out, or to be a focal, something that you're going to look at and read. I just love the sentiment and everything about it. So I'm going to do my journaling over here. Let's see. All right, I'm going to give it a little bit of a title. It doesn't have a lot of meaning to it. It just kind of fits with the garden sort of feeling of the page. And then another fun thing that you can do is you can write things in here. And I don't know that this is this page 15 or page 16? Let me go look what page it is. Hold on. Okay, yeah, this is page 16, so we're actually one page over our halfway point. So I'm going to do, I want to write it small enough that hopefully I'll be able to read it. But I'm just going to mark it page 16. So hopefully that will show up. I think it might help if I go around it with a little bit of black just to help it pop because of the light color that's sometimes, the pattern, the heavy pattern that's in the background. It's a little busy. And so sometimes you can just add a hint of an outline and overcome things like a busy background. So that's what I'm going to do. And that's it for the details for page 16. I got white on her lips. It looks odd. I must have touched my finger. Yay! Yay for deli paper. It's pretty tough stuff. I've scratched and scratched at this a couple of times now. Her lips look like ridiculous. And I can't actually see the original painting anymore. So I have no idea what her lips were supposed to look like. So I'm just going to fudge it. And try to give her, I think that one's going to end up being darker. At least some idea of some little lips here. Sorry, I'm blowing on the paper. Oh, it doesn't like, I hate those markers. They don't work with any of the opaque markers. I need to put them away and only use them with like alcohol markers and stuff. I'm just pushing that back a little so it won't be really, really obvious. But there you go. Oh, I can't see my screen. So hopefully you can see that because I can't see the monitor. I have no idea what I'm showing you. So there's my page. Awesome. Completely made from, you know, scratch. Not you would never know it, but it's not a real page. All right, I will see you. Should I issue homework? The only homework I'm going to issue, other than finishing off your page, is, like I said before, magazines. And I'm just going to show you magazines. I have, my mom gets certain magazines in the mail. I'm going to move this page out of the way. Magazines in the mail, so like this cover is absolutely perfect because there's lots of color in it. I want a really colorful, I want to be using really colorful images for mine. Once you see the class, you'll have a better understanding. These are really good. Anything that's got a lot of color, it doesn't matter what the content is, perfect. Lots of color. It matters that there's a variety of colors. That's kind of dark. This would be good. It's nice and light, but this is kind of, you know, there's not a lot of colors. This one would be great if I needed some of that color. This is nice and colorful. So you kind of start to get the idea of what I'm looking for. I'm not going to tell you what we're making yet. That just, you know, you have to wait until tomorrow. That's all there is to it. This is a little bit bland, but would be beautiful if you were making something that was green. Very colorful. A lot of variety of colors in these. So, you know, you can see that it has, the content that's on it has nothing to do with it. Just that there's plenty of a variety of colors in it. That's all you need to collect. And how many that you're going to need is going to largely depend on how large your journal pages are. My journal pages are, what are my journal pages? I think this cover tells me. My journal pages are 11 inches by 14 inches. So that kind of tells me I'm going to need, you know, probably a little more than maybe some of you will. We are not going to be covering the entire page. We're going to be using something like a shape. I'm not telling you anymore, or I'll give it all away. But go and you know, go through your magazines. Awesome thing is to use pages that you don't like, as far as like, you know, you're not ever going to read the content, you don't care for it. Junk mail. As far as junk mail goes, like, let me show you, maybe. Oh, come on, here we go. This is like a free little magazine that one of the kids got at a guitar store that they go to all the time. You know, these are good. There's plenty of different kinds of colors on here. I'm not using for that because Eric Clapton is like a huge favorite of mine. His song "You Look Beautiful" is the song for me and my husband from our wedding. So I'm obviously not gonna do that with this. But stuff like that is awesome to use. It doesn't have to be magazines. If you don't have any magazines, I know there are a few who don't. You can use painted papers. You can use scrapbook paper. Like again, junk mail. I would stay away from like newsprint because you know the ink on newsprint rubs off. Yellow pages, same issue. So I would stay away from stuff that's going to make, you know, messy. But any kind of paper that has color. And if you've got a bunch of paper that, you know, say you've got a bunch of magazine pages that are just like the writing, you can just spray some color onto it. Use watercolors, paint it, whatever you want to do. You just need to have maybe, I don't know, 10 sheets that are magazine paper or, you know, whatever you're going to use. All right, that's enough. Okay, I will see you guys tomorrow.